Breaking news, breaking news. Major damage at a church in St. Louis. Tornado ripped through. One person dead here from this church. Centennial Christian Church in St. Louis. Actually, 5 people died total around St. Louis because of the tornado that ripped through the city. I got some drone footage here, damaged of this church here. I'm going to share this with you, and then we will further discuss about the tornadoes. Check it out.
Now I want to turn our focus up to St. Louis. There were some storms earlier in the day in St. Louis. Storms killed at least 7 people in Missouri, 5 of those in St. Louis alone. We've got more than 80,000 people that are still without power. Fox Weather's Katie Byrne is live on the ground where the sun is coming up now, just starting to get a view of how bad the damage is. I was watching this on Fox Weather at home yesterday, Katie, and it was very clear. You could see it on radar. There was a tornado that went through the north side of town. How bad is the damage?
It's pretty widespread, Ari. When you drive around here, you're going to see lots of scenes like what we're seeing right behind us here. The mayor saying that they're grieving those lives lost here in the city of St. Louis. And this church, Centennial Christian Church, is some of the worst damage that we've seen. You're going to see the bricks here that used to be the walls just tumbled into the front lawn. The roof is partially collapsed, and when you walk around, this scene is essentially repeated across this neighborhood. We've got a car over here with its windows totally blown out. We're seeing some neighbors across the area with brooms right now, just stepping outside as the sun has come up, starting to start that cleanup process. This all really happened right before dinner time. We know that crews essentially overnight were working their way through some of the damaged buildings, looking for people who were trapped or hurt. The mayor says at least 5,000 homes in the city of St. Louis have been damaged in some way. We had intense winds that you could see blowing debris around. We know that we've seen damage in homes. We've seen trees down. We've got power outages, and cell service is still an issue right now. In fact, fire officials are expecting calls to come in at a higher rate today because of the fact that cell service was so spotty last night. So as that communication continues to be restored, that's something that fire officials are looking out for. We'll keep you updated with the latest that we're seeing on the ground here right now. But a just absolutely devastating scene this morning here in St. Louis when you look around.
Hey, Katie, have you heard from the National Weather Service? I imagine they're probably going to be out doing surveys today, trying to figure out exactly where the tornado was, what's straight line wind damage, what's tornado damage. Have you heard anything along those lines?
Right. We're checking to see what their survey plans are. Of course, we know it was a very active night last night, so I'm sure they have several locations that they're going to be checking out. But St. Louis, as big of an area as it is, I have to imagine it's towards the top of the list where they're headed.
Yeah, I imagine so. All right, Katie, thank you so much for the report. We really appreciate it. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit.
I'm at a shopping center that's owned by the Urban League, which is just across the parking lot. The roof collapsed while people were inside. Some of them were working. Some of them were taking care of customers. A nail salon, they had customers, and the roof just fell in on them. Nobody seriously injured, but there were some scrapes.
A friend of mine's, Lisa, that owns Heaven Sent, she was decorating. She had set everything up for the wedding, and I was just putting some flowers on the backdrop, and all of a sudden it started raining, and I could see the wind blowing real hard, and I told her, I said, look at that. And she said, run, get in the office. And by the time we got in the office, the whole building just collapsed and it fell on our back. And we were both in the office. We stayed there until one of her family members came and he got us. It was 3 of us in there. And then the people from Archway came and helped get us out. We climbed through the window in order to get out, but we wanted to be careful because there were live wires in there. And so I just said it might be a bad Friday for some people, but for me, it's a good Friday because when you look at this building, that lets you know it's a God, because there's no way that we could have walked out of there. We just kept praying.
So this is going to be at Centennial Christian Church. It's on Fountain Avenue near Aubert, and we're getting reports. You see there are a massive amount of damage. Fire crews, looks like they're trying to figure out how to get into that building. We know multiple people, or at least one person, has been taken out on a stretcher, one taken to the hospital, another couple pulled out on stretchers. Not clear how many people are in there, but obviously a lot of people still trying to do some rescue efforts. There looks like a woman here trying to be treated by, looks like bystanders, even a few first responders there. Still a really active scene.
And even across the street there, homes there, look at that roof ripped off of that structure, a ton of debris in the front yard. If we pan back to the church, I want to get another look of just the amount of bricks in the front. We have a fire truck that's blocking, but that's okay. Big response by emergency responders right now. And there's another look at just the amount of bricks as we zoom in. As one by one, really just kind of picking those bricks.
You see, they're trying to get through the door. Yeah.
Now we're covering the tornado damage throughout St. Louis and Kentucky. I have a lot of friends in the Kentucky area, which also got significant damage in the Somerset and London Kentucky area. I have personal friends that have their homes damaged. Tornadoes ripped through. Total of 23 people in both states died in the last 24 hours because of tornadic activities. Scary times, folks. Scary, particularly churches. It's never good to see a church get destroyed from a hurricane or a tornado or earthquake. So we are praying for everyone in St. Louis. I will continue to survey and share the damage with all of you. Scary times, folks. It's hard to avoid these things, and they just come out of nowhere. You might have just minutes, seconds to evacuate, get out, seek shelter, find a way. So, this is tornado season out there, folks. So, just stay vigilant, particularly when you live in the Midwest, because these things come through like a freight train, and scary times. Loud boom noise. It's rumbling. Nighttime tornadoes are the worst too. When more information comes out about these tornadoes, more press conferences or anything, we covered a press conference earlier today by St. Louis officials. They want people to stay away from the downtown power lines and everything like that. Anything else breaks out about these tornadoes, you will hear it here on JLR Investigates. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.